thank you all so much for being here. I think this is such an important issue, and so thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. I'm going to do 2 poems. Because that's what I get. The hot-boiled rage that comes from this. Fear snaked through the plumbing of my pulse. There is nothing quite like being a woman followed by a man at 2 a.m. on a deserted block in Brooklyn, when sobriety is against me and so are all of the taxis racing past. He grabs me with the dumb confidence of someone who has never been told no, and so I do. You stupid dyke, he sneers, and my nice girl smile blisters. I was careful at the bar, told him no thank you for the drink, rested my hand on the back of her chair and kissed her goodnight out on the steps. And now all I have are these keys pressed into my hand, and my heart a furious percussion, pounding knuckle into bone white as stars, raw aches prisoned into splintering skin. He wants this, and I should apologize. How long I have knitted contempt into bitter resignation, drooled excuses and closed-mouthed smiles, without ever touching down into the furious truth that I don't owe him or anyone anything for being who I am. For every time I've had to tell a friend, there's something about me you should know. I'm still the same Joanna you love, and I promise I'm not attracted to you. For every time I've had to say, Mom, this isn't about you. You didn't do anything wrong. Here's what I've never said. I have spent years committing hate crimes against myself, clawing against the inside of my skin, staring at the ceiling of my parents' house, whispering, please don't make me gay, please don't make me gay. And I have fought too hard to survive, to not defend myself to the teeth, and I have worked too hard to love this than to listen to anyone trying to convince me not to. Hate crimes are committed by people who think they can stamp out our humanity like God. Before he was anyone else, Matthew Shepard was somebody's son. And before I was just some girl racing towards the train with keys pressed into my bloody hand, I was somebody's daughter who used to run through pitch-black hallways with my eyes closed, trusting that someone had left the nightlight on. Thank you, and I'm going to do one more poem. When I was 13, there was nothing worse than having no one to sit with at lunch. The entire cafeteria became one silent, unblinking eye, x-raying down to the gentlest trembling of the chin, the slow creep of fear unrolling snakebite down the hallway of my veins. When I tried to sit down, Kara moved her bag to the empty seat and stared straight ahead while the other girls laughed. Acid sparks crackling in the backs of their throats, a toast to the flood of relief that it wasn't them this time. When I remember, all I can think is, thank God we didn't have Facebook then. There were no live streams of the first time I kissed someone without having to pretend I was with someone else. No messages from fake MySpace profiles of boys who didn't recoil in mock disgust when I walked down the hall. No posted bulletins about what a loser I was. 15 years later, I still wince to think of what that would have felt like to the middle school me. My thin bones scrubbed to translucent so that any outside opinions bled through and settled in that pool of light and that hot tingle of prism as if they always lived there. When it comes, in the form of a text, a Facebook status, a Twitter feed, an email, a phone call, the word dyke whispered when you walk by, the party invitations that don't come, the friends who now turn away when they see you coming, the Friday night sitting at home with your parents, the word dyke barked out in the locker room, the moment you are laying in bed with the door locked against your family that just doesn't understand you, when you decide that if everyone else thinks something is wrong with you, then there must be, and the hate suddenly hatches in your own brain. When it comes, you don't have the capacity for perspective because the black curtain is falling all around you and it's all you can do to just keep breathing. And even your own pulse is a mouth pressed to the cold wall of your chest, quivering dyke. Ugly. It is then, when you are more salt than water, that you must float. Some part brain chemicals, some part random circumstance, some part just having the right person there at the right time. Crying in my sister's bed as she played me Tori Amos and told me, in a few years this will all be so far away. And I wish someone had been there for Tyler, for the ones who weren't so lucky, and if that even would have made a difference. To tell them that all of those faces twisted into sneer are so full of hate for themselves, that the only way they can feel better is by burning cigarette holes into the parts of you that marrow and makes them cringe about themselves when they are alone. That you will soon find that there are thousands of kids just like you, and you are cooler than all of the jerks anyway, and there are worse things than being hated by those morons, like being hated by yourself. And in the end, it is just you and you, so you had better work to be the best you can be to yourself, that nobody else can define what beautiful means to you. And there will be people in your life who couldn't care less if you are gay, if you aren't stick thin, if you don't have a date to the prom, if you are different. And I don't have it in me to write to the bullies. Through the years, they become an endless stream of faces you eventually learn to disregard. But they never stop coming. Let them soak in their own misguided misery. You will be the one moving forward. You will grow in beauty, not into it. The layers of your skin unpeel every year. At the blistering heart of it all, there is hope. Believe me, this will end. It will fade to the shadow of a scar that only aches on days like this. When an article in the newspaper reminds you of how you wanted to fade into the linoleum floor of that lunchroom, how the roar of laughter slid around your neck like a smooth hand, how even now you want to shake those girls until the human in them spills out onto the ground, and they finally look you in the eye to say, "We didn't mean it, we swear."